Welcome to Solving Linear Equations in One Variable. This is part 1 of a series of videos introducing solving for variables in linear equations. This video will try to understand how the addition and subtraction properties of equality can be used to solve for variables. Examples will be shown and explained to help students better understand the concept and learn this critical skill for algebra. But before we continue, it is assumed that you have a mastery of combining signed numbers and similar terms, as well as properties of equality, particularly the reflexive and symmetric properties. Don't worry though, we'll try to explain some previous topics naman as we go along, so okay lang. You can click the links in the description below to go to specific exercises, although I highly recommend watching every example as you may learn something from each one of them. Before we solve for variables, let us recall the addition property of equality. It states that for A, B, and C, which are elements of the set of all real numbers, if A were equal to B, then A plus C is equal to B plus C. Now, what does this mean? This means adding the same value to both sides of an equation will result to an equality. So it doesn't matter what you add to the left and to the right, as long as they're equal, they will still be equal. Now, we know that this is true for any value of C. Now, what if we set C as a negative number? Kunwari, negative 3. Ano kayang mangyayari? Will this still be true? Let's see. If A were equal to B, then A plus C is equal to B plus C. Of course, we know that from the addition property. Now, substituting the value of C here, we now have A plus. C, take note, is negative 3. So substituting, we have negative 3 here. And then on the right side, we have B plus another negative 3. Now, simplifying, we know that A plus negative 3 is equal to A minus 3. And simplifying the right side as well, we know that B plus negative 3 is the same as B minus 3. Now, what does this mean? It means if we subtract 3 from both sides of the equation, these two sides are still equal. So, ano kaya ang implication yan? From here, we can derive another property of equality, an offshoot or anak, sige, if I may call it that way, of the addition property of equality. It's called the subtraction property of equality. It states that for A, B, and C, where these are elements of the set of real numbers, if A were equal to B, then A minus C is equal to B minus C, which practically means subtracting the same value from both sides of an equation will result to an equality pa rin. So, implication, final, whether you add or subtract, as long as you add or subtract the same numbers, the left side and right side of the equations will always be equal. Now, let's try to use the addition and subtraction properties to solve for x or any variable for that matter. Now, take note, our aim when solving for x is to isolate x on one side of the equation. Meaning, kailangan ang x mo makikita mo either on the left side lang or on the right side. So let me show you how we do that by looking at some examples. Number 1, let's try to solve and check. What if we're asked to solve for x in x minus 2 is equal to 6? Kailangan maging true ang statement natin. Now, of course, some of you can do this mentally. However, if the numbers are, for example, decimals or fractions, naku, kailangan better ang ating method rather than trial and error lang. So, what you want to do is to isolate x by using the addition and subtraction property. Our aim to do that is to counteract the operation. Anong ibig sabihin? Okay, let's look. Notice, meron tayong negative 2 dito. Istorbo if you want to isolate x on the left side only. How do we remove yung negative 2 or minus 2? Let's counteract that. So how do you do that? Let me copy first, x minus 2. And how do you counteract minus? What's the opposite of minus ba? it's plus. So to remove minus 2, we have to add, that's the opposite of 2. Do you agree? Because negative 2 plus 2 later will be equal to 0. Removing that, therefore leaving just x on the left side. However, we did that to the left side. Kailangan, para equal pa rin, what you do unto the left, you do unto the right, just like our golden rule. So, let's add 2 here as well, para fair, para equal pa rin. Now, simplifying, we now have x, negative 2 plus 2 is equal to what? It's 0 because these are additive inverses of each other. We simply cancel them. And then 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. We're not yet done. We want x only, remove 0, therefore x is equal to 8. That's it. This value of x will make the statement true. This is the solution of this equation without using any trial and error. However, we're asked to check pa if the value that we got is really correct. So, let me try and check on the left side. Doing that, we have x minus 2. The question is it equal to 6? Let's try. Substitute 8. We have 8 minus 2. Is it equal to 6? 6 is equal to 6. This is a true statement, therefore sigurado tayo that the answer really is equal to 8. Okay, let's answer number 2 this time. We're asked to solve for y given that 5 equals y plus 2. Now, just like what we did earlier sa number 1, we use the addition property of equations so that we can isolate y on the right side. And how do you do that? Let me copy first y plus 2. Now, what we want is to counteract the operation, right? Now, what do we do to counteract that operation plus 2? Notice sa addition property, we have to add something. In this case, we should add the additive inverse of positive 2, which is negative 2. But you did that to the right by addition property of equations. You do to one side, you also do to the other side para equal pa rin. Do you agree? So simplifying further, positive 2 plus negative 2, they're additive inverse of each other, cancel. I don't even need to write 0 here. And then finally, we know that 5 plus negative 2 is 3. Therefore, you have isolated y, and that's it. That should be the value of y. Again, we're asked to check if our answer is correct. So what do? We substitute. We have 5 equals. May I immediately substitute the value of y here? Y, we know, is 3. So is it 3 plus 2? 5 is equal to 5, resulting to a true statement. Our answer, y equals 3, must be correct. Now, while this is correct, the solution, masyadong matagal. What if we try to counteract plus 2 by simply getting the opposite of that, which is minus 2? Let's try. We have then y plus 2, counteract plus 2, o edi minus 2, wag ka na mag-plus negative 2. Total, we can use the subtraction property of equality. Okay? So, we did that to the right. To be fair, what you do unto the other side, you do that to the other side as well. So, this is 5 minus 2. Pantay pa rin. So, we simplify. 2 minus 2 is 0. We only have y. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. We have isolated our variable on the right side. We have the same answer. So, here we use the addition property of equality. Here, we use the subtraction property of equality. It doesn't matter whether we add or subtract as long as we're adding or subtracting the same value. The left side and right side is equal. Therefore, we still get the same answer. Let's have some more exercises. Again, we solve and check. This time, we're asked to solve for x in x minus negative 1.5 is equal to 8.5. Now, what's the key here again? We counteract this one. We have to remove 1.5 here to isolate x on one side. However, it's confusing. Anong gagawin mo dito? Do you add or subtract? This minus negative is giving us a hard time. So what we can do if we're given such thing is why not try to simplify minus negative? We know, of course, minus negative is positive. So let me write, we have x minus negative. You simply cancel that. So this becomes plus 1.5. As you can see, it's much easier now and to figure out what we do. How do we counteract plus 1.5? To counteract plus, it's minus. So let me copy. So we have x plus 1.5 minus 1.5 to counteract that. And then copy 8.5. You did minus 1.5 on the left side. You also do minus 1.5 on the right side according to the subtraction property. We know we can cancel this, therefore isolating x, and that is your aim. 8.5 minus 1.5 is 7. And this is the answer. Again, of course, you can check whether your answer is correct or not by substituting. So we have x, which is 7, minus negative 1.5. Remember, you always substitute in the original equation. Is it equal to 8.5? Let's try. 7 plus 1.5 is 8.5, which is equal to the right side. Therefore, this is a true statement. Our answer must be correct. Let's try the last one. Negative 3 plus x is equal to 1 and 1/2. Yes, of course, we can apply addition and subtraction properties even in decimals or fractions. It doesn't matter. So, our aim again is to isolate x on the left side. Now, how do we remove itong istorbong minus 3 na ito or negative 3? Take note what connects the variable x and negative 3. Take note, plus connects them. So, we have to counteract that plus. Meaning, copy muna, we have negative 3 plus x. To counteract plus, we should subtract negative 3. Or, actually, another thing that we can do is to get simply the opposite of minus 3, which is plus 3. If you want to check, you can cancel negative 3 plus 3, this will be 0, therefore leaving us with x later. But you did that to the left side, you must also do that to the right side. You added 3, you add 3 here as well para equal pa rin. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0, leaving us with just x. Now 1 and 1/2 plus 3 is of course 4 and 1/2. You can write your answer in improper fraction as well, but this is enough. So x here is 4 and 1/2. Again, we can check our answer. Substitute in the original equation. So, negative 3 plus x. What is x? 4 and 1/2. Is this equal to 1 and 1/2? Let's see. We know that 4 and 1/2 is equal to 2 times 4, 8 plus 1. It's 9/2, correct? And then, negative 3 is of course negative 6 over 2. Correct? So, their denominators are the same, therefore they are now similar. On the right side, we also convert 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1, it's 3/2. So finally, combining these two similar fractions, negative 6 plus 9 is equal to 3. Then copy the common denominator 2. Therefore, the left side and the right side are equal. Our answer 4 and 1/2 must be correct. You're now ready for some exercises. Solve for the variables in the following equations. Make sure to check your answer by substitution. You can pause this video now to try them. Kaya yan, go! Here are the answers. I hope you got them. Another important concept that we can use in solving for variables is the law of transposition. Now, what does it tell us? For A, B, C, where these are elements of the set of real numbers, if A plus B is equal to C, then A equals C minus B. Now, what does this mean? It means that moving a number from one side of the equation to the other side of the same equation reverses the sign of that number. Let's look at the variable b. If you notice, it started from the left side of the equation. In this part, b transferred from the left side to the right side. However, on the left side, the sign of b is plus or positive. When we transposed, that's the term that we use when moving from one side to the other, what we did, we reversed the sign of b. It becomes now minus b. Now, to prove that they're equal, we have this. Let's say we're given a plus b equals c. Just in case you want to remove the variable b here, what you want to do is apply the addition property of equality, adding negative b to both sides of the equation. The reason for that? We want to cancel b plus negative b to 0, therefore isolating a on the left side. On the right side though, we can simplify further. C plus negative b is c minus b. Therefore, we can say that a plus b equals c can be converted to a equals c minus b. They're the same. In our next example, we will be trying to use this to solve for variables. Let's go back to the first and second examples that we just solved earlier. But this time, let's solve this using the law of transposition. Let me copy first our first example. We have x minus 2 is equal to 6. Now, take note of your aim. It's to isolate x. Therefore, what you want to do is to remove this minus 2 here to be able to isolate x on the left side. So, we want to transpose it from the left side to the right side. But doing that, this now becomes 6, copy, and then minus 2 now becomes plus 2. Remember, change the sign as you go from one side to the other. And then the others, we copy. Finally, x is equal to 6 plus 2, and it's equal to 8, which is the same thing as we solved earlier. Notice, it's much faster because we don't really need to write and then rewrite and then cancel. We simply need to transfer from one side to the other, saving more time. Now, how about number 2? Let me copy. We have 5 is equal to y plus 2. Again, our aim is to isolate y on one side, so it better stay on the right side. We want to move positive 2 or plus 2 here. Move it to the left side. But doing that, we should change the sign from plus to minus according to the law of transposition. Therefore, we only have y on the right side. Simplifying this one, we have 5 minus 2, it's 3, therefore giving the same answer as the previous method. So, there are many ways of solving. You can use addition property of equality, subtraction property of equality, or even transposition or the transposition law to solve for the variable. Let's solve the last set of exercises. But this time, try to use the law of transposition. Again, make sure to check your answer by substitution. You can pause this video now to try them. Kaya yan, go! Here are the answers. I hope you got them. Remember that there are many ways to arrive at the answer, whether you use the addition property, subtraction property, or law of transposition, you should arrive at these same answers. In our next video, we would be using the multiplication property of equality in getting the solution of an equation. See you next time! Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy solving!